When this healthcare business came to us, they were extremely successful. And by successful, I mean they had a 7-week waiting list for patient appointments. But despite this, they were unable to scale. This was a healthcare company in Dubai led by 2 founders. And over 7 years, they were hands-on as they grew this business with care, values, and hands-on leadership. For years, that closeness was their edge until growth turned it into their constraint. As they prepared to expand beyond their home market, backed by external investment, the cracks began to show. Standards became harder to protect, employee experience slipped, and the owners were really stretched thin. They were literally holding on to everything together, approving leave, managing schedules, solving operational issues, and handling patient queries, filling every gap. And the team could feel it. People started leaving. Others quietly began looking elsewhere. And the owners knew something had to change. They had to grow. They wanted to attract investment. And they wanted to protect that culture that they had built. But they also understood their truth. You can't scale a business that depends on you to function. That's when they came to us. So together, we agreed on one thing. If they wanted to scale, the business had to stop being owner dependent. So here's how we helped them. We approached this in 3 phases. Phase 1 and Phase 2 ran in parallel, and Phase 1 was about leadership, establishing a proper management layer and building that capability to lead the business day to day. A real layer of ownership below the founders. So we recruited that entire management team at once. We built a leadership team with real ownership, decision rights, and accountability. Phase 2 was about the system around that leadership. A HR framework that empowered managers to lead with clarity and confidence. HR infrastructure for growth. We built the framework as a leadership enabler with compliance built into it, especially given the demands of a healthcare industry. Clear HR policies aligned directly to the employment contract. A practical employee handbook, which was the first point of reference for all employees. And a clear, structured onboarding experience. This is the part that often gets missed in the UAE. Too often, onboarding is reduced to visas, work permits, and paperwork. Important, yes, but that's the only administrative layer. Real onboarding is about orientation, not just documentation. It's about helping people understand how decisions are made, what good performance looks like, and how the culture shows up day to day. But most importantly is how their role connects to patient care and the wider mission. At this stage, the business already had investors lined up. Interest was there. The owners, however, didn't want investment to just dilute standards. They wanted it to amplify them. So here's where the 3rd phase came in. And this phase was entirely about performance. Performance that matched the level of care, discipline, and excellence the business was already known for. We translated the organization's high standards into measurable expectations for leaders, for teams, and for the entire business as a whole. We aligned performance management with patient outcomes, operational consistencies, and leadership behavior. Managers were also trained to lead performance conversations with confidence. This mattered deeply at the investor stage because investors don't just back numbers, you see, they back predictability. And predictability comes from systems that hold standards even as the business grows. So where are they today? They have scaled to multiple locations across the Emirates, and they now also operate 2 additional locations across the wider GCC region. There was one additional and crucial layer that made this possible: communication. This level of change would have created real uncertainty with new leaders, new structures, and new expectations. So alongside the structural work, we built a very clear and intentional communication plan. Employees were kept informed at every stage. They understood why changes were happening, what was changing, and what was really staying the same. There were no surprises, no mixed messages, and no decisions happening in the dark. People really felt included rather than unsettled. They could see how the new structure supported them and created more opportunity. In fact, a few employees were already serving their notice period, and they chose to withdraw their resignations. They stayed because they could see direction and a future they wanted to be a part of. Today, the business runs with confidence. Leaders led, employees trust the direction, patients receive consistent care. The organization scaled without fear, without chaos, and without losing what made it special in the first place. If parts of this story feel familiar, congratulations. It's because your business is growing faster than the structure underneath it. We work with businesses that want to put the right people systems in place so leaders can lead with clarity, teams understand what's expected, and growth doesn't depend on founders holding everything together. If this feels relevant to where your business is right now, use the link in the description to book a call and let's have a chat.